We're now live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Wait for Natalie to come in on Instagram. Yep. It is another Boss Talk Wednesday. Like and share this feed, guys, on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. We got a really dope topic for you today. There you go in the room. All right, it is the first Wednesday of the new year. Coming live
Mm-hmm.
to you guys at Boss Up Talk. Guys, like and share this feed. Natalie, you're coming in live on here right now.
Yes. Hey, hey, hey.
Instagram. Yes, there you go. We're live on
Awesome.
Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, guys. Like and share this feed. We have a really dope topic for you today, talking about some real stuff as we do every time we come on live.
Mm-hmm.
And it is the first Wednesday of the new year. All
Yep.
right, that's big.
2023.
Yeah, so well, Natalie, as Christians, we always believe in first fruit about,
Mm-hmm.
giving the first of it. So when you start thinking about that going into a new year, right? This is the first year. The first one means a lot. Like I'm really
Yeah.
just kind of recovering from just like holidays and doing business. So I had just cleaned out my old book bag because I got a new book bag, and I found my where is it at? I found my I got this heavy book bag. I found my it's kind of like my faith journal, my manifestation journal.
Mm-hmm. How old
Believing
is
for
that?
oh, this year. This from
Oh,
last
okay.
year.
Okay.
So I started this one on January 26th of last year. But I realized I also haven't did it since 11/1 because I got busy, right? Sometimes in life you just get busy. You just can't help it, right? But no matter how busy you are, you can't let go of principles. Like, and these are one of the principles is however, whatever you write, you start to manifest. Whatever you believe, you start to manifest, but it starts with writing it down. So I said, you know what, Jay? Okay, you haven't wrote in about 2 months. Now it's time to get back to it because you have goals and dreams and you want to start the first week off right. So now, as we're going into this new year, what things do I want to see? What things do I want to manifest? What things do I want to do? And one of the biggest thing I've been working on is establishing my value. I know who I am, but sometimes I gotta always. It's like a Jay-Z song, "Allow me to reintroduce myself," right? And what happens is, entrepreneurs and as creatives, we have to reintroduce ourselves to society, reintroduce ourselves even to ourselves, because sometimes we lose sight of who we are and what our value is.
Boss Up Wednesdays, my kids are at home. So we're gonna try to get through this without any interruptions like last week, but we'll see. But I love that the fact that you talk about the principles having to be the same. I teach my clients that as well. Like the principles don't change, even though the methods do. And sometimes we
Mm,
think that because the method has to change, that the principles have to change as well. But there are certain
that's good.
principles, especially when it comes to business, that are just that's how it's supposed to be done. Like we don't
Mhm.
realize how important marketing is and how important it is to, you know, in other words, sell yourself, sell your product, put yourself out there, market your stuff. And sometimes people will come in and be like, it don't take all that. If I have a great product, if I have something wonderful, then I don't need to do that. But that's a business principle that you have to
Mhm.
adhere to. Now, how you market yourself may be able to change depending on where you're at, the platform, even the
Mhm.
generation, the time period you find yourself in. Marketing might be different, but that's a basic principle of business that you can't change. And sticking to those principles and knowing what those principles are is going to help you as you move forward in 2023 and beyond. And then another
Mhm.
thing you said was sometimes we have to reintroduce ourselves to ourselves. Not only the fact
Yeah.
that we don't show up like we should, but a lot of the times we are growing and we are evolving and we're not the same person that we used to be. And so
Mhm.
since we're not the same person like we were in 2022 or 2019 or 2017, we have to now get familiar with the new version of who we are. Sorry, y'all. Um, so much going on. Sometimes we just got to reintroduce ourselves or get to know the new version of us so that we
Mhm.
can understand who we are and how we operate now as opposed to how we operated then. So great start
You
to Boss Up Talks.
You know what? It's good what you said about that part. I think the reason why it's always good to really reintroduce yourself, even to yourself, is because sometimes you can get so comfortable with your daily life that you forget really reestablish yourself, right? Like even in the morning, like I remember when Benny Hinn wrote that book, Good Morning Holy Spirit, right? Like sometimes we get so comfortable with life being life that we don't really value that today is a gift, right? The fact that we made it into a brand new year is a gift because some people just didn't make it to the new year, but you made it in today. So when you made it to the wake up list, it's like, wait, hold on. Let me establish the value of today, because the value of today is that you're breathing. The value of today is you get a chance to get it right. The value of today is like, hey, I have the opportunity, even if I didn't get it right yesterday, I now have the opportunity to really get it right. And sometimes we beat ourselves over the head, like stuff that we didn't get right. Like, oh man, I wish I could do this. Me and Halima was talking about how sometimes, you find yourself looking at other, it says like coveting other people's stuff. Like, oh man, I wish that was me. Or, oh man, I wish I had that. Or, oh man, I wish I had this. And you take the time away from you valuing what you do have. Like today, I'm just happy that, hey, I had a job to go to today. Hey, I had gas in my car today, because I could think of times where I didn't have enough money to have gas. Like today, I'm grateful that I have a place to stay, because there's some people who don't have that stuff. And once you start to value everything in your life, you start to really appreciate everything, especially the gifts that God has given you. And in this season, you have to be so okay with appreciating what you have, because once you appreciate what you have, you start to move differently. You move with purpose, because I know, like, even to do today in my class, I had a meeting with my superintendent today, and it was so cool because I really love the atmosphere of my job, right? So I was talking to her. It's not a I got you environment. It's very much so, how can we help? How can we cultivate your environment? So as we're talking, she was just so passionate about the program. I was passionate. And she was like, whatever you need, Josh, to build this program, we're here to help you. And it was so dope, because I'm like, wow, like people see your value and they just want you to win. So oftentimes the negative people seem to be highlighted, right? Where a lot of times, like, the positivity is not really involved. Like some people say, oh, I need to break from social media. It's so negative. I'm like, no, that's just who you surround yourself with, because the people that post on my page are positive, So when you start to really value your time and your energy, you start to, one, attract better things, two, have a greater appreciation, and three, have less time for negativity. You have less time to entertain things that really don't suit your purpose. Like even with today, I'm just like, wow, like I couldn't wait to get, like, y'all understand, I literally rush out of work to come on here, go through traffic. I'll be out, I'm like, kids, I gotta get away, y'all gotta leave, y'all gotta go, because I enjoy these conversations with my friend Natalie, and we just know that iron sharpens iron. So when Natalie, she inspires me, I inspire her, and therefore we just bring this together. And our goal is to impact others, because we value our gifts and we want to show the value by sharing it with others.
Yes, we value our gifts and want to show the value by sharing it. That is good right there. I have to write that down. That sharing piece. A lot of the times as entrepreneurs, you want to hold it to yourself. You have a great idea, you want to lock it down, or you just have something that you're like, oh, this is good, and you want to just keep it to yourself. But the sharing is where you value it. I never thought about it like that. I understand give and it shall be given unto you, but I didn't realize you're valuing your gift by sharing it with the world. But holding it hostage and keeping it to yourself shows that you don't value it. That right there. I'm like, wow. I love what you talked about coveting other people's gifts, though, because I was thinking the same thing. Like, we spend so much time thinking about, oh, we could be like this person, or we could be like that, or we even spend a lot of time coveting who we were in our teen years. Like we were, more, for me anyway, more open-minded. I used to write a lot more. I just used to be free. Like there was nothing that I could not, like I told myself I could not do when I was about 16 or 17. It was like the world was, your oyster, so to speak, and you will be able to do anything. And then you get into your 20s and disappointment set in, or your 30s, and you're like, man, I still haven't done what I said I was going to do. By the time you hit 40, you like, screw this, you know what I mean? And we spend so much time. We do. looking at what should have been and what was and who has what and who, who's doing so much better than us, that we are mismanaging the moments that we have. And the fact that you said that we woke up today and we took our breath, it's just like, wow, we are still alive. There's a lot of people that didn't make it into 2023. There are a lot of people that didn't make it into 2022. I mean, my cousin died when he was what, in his 20s, and this was in
Yeah.
2017, and he had so many big dreams and so many goals, and he never got to accomplish that. But we still have today. Everything
Yeah.
that he did in the time span that he had, it inspires me, our family, his children, to continue his legacy. Like, he had so many big dreams, he had so many goals. And when I heard about what he did, I was like, oh, I can't keep sleeping on my gift, because
Yeah.
this young man, he had so many dreams that he cannot get to accomplish in this moment, but I do. So what am I going
Yeah.
to do with it? What am I going to, who am I going to share this with? Because it doesn't make any sense to have dreams and goals that nobody knows about. I didn't know about his dreams. Maybe I could have helped him. Maybe, another family member could have helped him, but he didn't share that with a lot of people. If we would
Mm.
open up our mouth and say
Help
what it
comes.
is that we have, you know what I mean? But we like
Close
to
mouths
lock
don't
it
get fed.
down. Yeah, but we like to hold it tight because this is mine right here. Meanwhile, do you think, I keep telling people, like, do you think that Zoom was on the mind of only one man? Like, that probably was on the mind of many people to have this kind of interaction, or StreamYard, or the fact that Josh and I can connect with millions of people worldwide over the internet. Do you think that was only on the mind of one person? Absolutely not. But it took one person to make the move so that other people could see that this is possible. To, like, you know what, let's start doing it. Because they didn't all come out at the same time. One came out one after the next. We had Zoom, we had StreamYard, we had, all these other applications. But we got to realize, like, we have to start opening our mouth. We have to value ourselves first enough to share our gift and open up our mouth. Wow.
Yeah, that's the part that's so dope about it, because what happens is too, we just get really complacent with just life, right? When
Yes.
honestly, we all have gifts, right? And the thing about having a gift, the gift is for you to share with the world. But when you hold it hostage, you don't realize that sometimes sharing your gift blesses you back, right? When you have a gift and you share with others, you're able to really expand someone's mindset. Like with these podcasts that we do, right? I get so inspired that it challenges me. Okay, next week, you got 7 days to work on what you said you was going to work on during that podcast. So if we talked about establishing your worth, that means I have till next week to come back with a result, because then I become like a fraud. I become like a fake. Like, wait, Jay, hold on. Y'all was on this podcast talking about this, but what you didn't do? Like, me and Natalie both have homework assignments every single week for ourselves, because we know that when we come back to you guys next week, we want to make sure that we're representing what we say that we're going to do. Right. So now my goal is to make sure every day I'm representing that, because the more I represent my value and show up for my value, I'm able to really bless so many other people. In the scripture, when Jesus gave out the talent, the parable of the talents, where one guy didn't sow anything. He said, at least if you would have sold it, it would have got some type of interest or value on what it is. But when you hold it hostage, you lose sight that, hey, your gift is not for you, it's for the world, right? And when I have conversations with some people and they talk about, man, I really want to do this. So the first thing I'm asking, so what's your steps to action? Because the problem with that is we're not going to keep talking about the same thing week after year. Yesterday, I had a conversation with one of my friends, and he had an issue that he was dealing with like 7 years ago. He's still dealing with the same issue. And I'm like, bro, how are you still stuck like that? Like, I'm just realized, like, man, in this last 7 years, I was able to accomplish so much, but it was because of my mindset. I had to renew my mind to rediscover my value, because once people see your value, they want to be attracted to that. Like if you look on Instagram, right, there are people who you just want to be attracted to, you want to be around. Like, I love your energy. I want to be around whatever project you got going on. I want to be a part of it. But it took them sharing their gift. The more you share your gift, the more people will see. And now, once you start to identify your value, your worth starts to automatically ooze out. right? You want to be able to show up as an artist or as whatever your gift is. You want to be able to show up to the marketplace, show up to the world, and you want to be like Natalie said last week about be the solution to someone's problem. There are so many problems in the world. What do you solve, right? And it's just like even too like when I started to one thing that sticks out the most is I was selling dinners when I was in college. So when I got out of college, um, I worked this job. It was at this raggedy place. It was real raggedy, and um, it was just like I couldn't take it no more, so I quit. I'm like, I'm getting out of here. I'm just doing my business full time, right? When I started doing my business full time, I was selling dinners, like I was selling plates, and I'm like, God, this can't be it for me. Like these plates are cool, but these 10, $15 plates, 16 ain't it. Because I'm like, man, I paid $120,000 for a degree, and I know this can't be it. So what happened was in my frustration, I started to really focus. I said, because I thought I would have a restaurant then, and now I'm realizing it now. It was never meant for me to have that restaurant, which is why things wasn't working out. But I went to deliver food. It was this my spiritual grandmother. She passed away. Um, I would always bring her food like every other week. So I would go to nursing home, bring her food, and we would have conversations. So there was one time, and she was like really big in like the prophetic realm, and like she was just like super anointed with what she did. And as we were talking one day, she said, "Hey, you don't realize what you do when you deliver food to people. Like I always knew you would be in ministry, but I didn't see it till now that this is your ministry, right?" So as I started to bring food, she said, "You don't realize that you're able to share your light to people when you're delivering these meals." And I didn't think about that because I was doing on just a Friday alone, delivering about at least anywhere from 50 to 100 orders by myself from 11 a.m. to sometimes 12 at night. And she said, "Jay, you know that you're able to light people up just because some people never have a positive conversation. And when you're delivering food, you're talking to people, having a good conversation, brightening up their day, and you're blessing them with their gift, your gift, which is your food, right? Whatever your gift is, it's not just about you making money. Your gift is really about healing people. Your gift is about really transforming lives because you may be at the right place at the right time sharing your gift, and you'll see the right words to help somebody like when you're sharing a gift, you're at the right place at the right time, and somebody's able to speak a word into you. Because when she spoke that into me, I became so much more intentional about my business with selling dinners. Right? I would, uh, I would look forward to talk to people as I'm selling dinners because I'm like, today I get the opportunity to be a blessing in somebody's life. Today I get the opportunity to be able to show Christ in the world. Say I get the opportunity to show a light that might not be seen if I wasn't actively at my purpose showing and sharing my value. And from that moment, everything I did after that was intentional. And I think maybe a year after that, that's when I started teaching. And if I would have got that restaurant that I thought I wanted at that time, I would have never been able to teach and impact lives with the energy I had at that moment at 23. So now when I think about it, everything was in its purpose, in its season. And now I'm so blessed because I'm like, if I would have never realized my value and share my value, I would have never really found out my ministry gift was to help other people through food. And it led into this big thing with mentoring young people all around, the state. So, and then all around the country right now doing some amazing things.
That is so good. I love the fact that you talked about your ministry tying into your business because that's what I'm all about. Like for me, business is ministry. And a lot of the times people will try to separate the two and be like, well, if you're a prophet in the church, then you can't be, prophesying in your business. Or if you are an apostle, then you can't build any. And it's just like, I don't think that God intended it to be separate but equal kind of thing. It's just like, this is who you are. And when I like the fact that we're talking about value because we talk about, the value of our gifts. And I want to make it clear that who you are as a person, the worth that we have as people, there is no amount of money that you can put on me. Like you can't say Natalie's worth $1 million or you can't say Josh is worth $5 billion. Like I know people do that, but it's not putting a value on their personhood. Each person is priceless. Like
Oh
Christ
yeah.
died for our lives, period. So, I mean, he exchanged his life for our life. There's nothing, there's no amount of monetary value that you can put on that. So, when we're
Mhm.
talking about the value that we bring, we're talking about the value of your giftings. That value, we want to make that clear, is your gift. What is your gift worth? And that's what people want to know. And how you figure that out is by, like Josh said, the problems that you're solving. How do you use the gifts that you have to solve the problems that exist? How do you use the gifts that you have to make somebody feel better, to make somebody see themselves in a different light, to make somebody decide, you know what, it's time for me to walk in purpose. It's time for me to get clarity. It's time for me to help my family. It's time for me to break these generational curses. Like, how does your gift operate in a space where other people are being freed from whatever is holding them hostage or bondage to their lives? Like, that's what we're talking about. And that you definitely can put a value on it. And people don't realize how valuable the gifting is. Yes, the person is valuable and you can't put a price tag on that, but your gifting, especially when you begin to hone your gift and hone your craft and try to message it and package it well so that people can see that this is who I am. This is how I operate. And when I step on in the room, or when you step in the room, or when Josh steps in the room, whatever problems that exist there that we have the solution for, bet you believe we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna
That
solve your problem. Like, you're not gonna walk away if you have a problem that's attached to my solution. You're not gonna leave a room and not get that solved. Not gonna
yeah,
happen. And it
that's
doesn't matter if you have money or not. A lot of us are waiting for money before we can actually show up as with value, and people don't work that way. That's why they have
mhm.
samples in the mall. They bring the samples to you, like, hey, you want to try this chicken? Hey, you want to try this, Chinese food? You want to try a little bit of this? You want to try a little bit of that? So that you can see it's worth it. It's worth you putting your money,
Yeah.
extending your money to get more of what I have to offer. And that's what we're talking about: showing up for yourself, letting people see who you are. Let people see who you are. Let people see what you can do. Let people see that you are a writer or a speaker or an author. Don't let life and fear and all of that stuff hold you back from showing up as yourself and letting your gift be on display so that people will know, hey, there's a solution right here. I don't have to deal with this problem anymore. I don't have to deal with not understanding what my purpose in life is anymore because Josh is here. Why am I sitting here not knowing my purpose if Josh is here? And if I got to work for 5 hours to get the money to come to him and exchange my money for the solution, then that's what I'm going to have to do. That's what we did. We couldn't get to this place if we were not willing to exchange our money, or even some of us exchange services so that we can understand, listen, I got to show up better. People
Yeah,
got to know that I'm here. We can't
for
any
sure.
longer, we have no excuses. We don't need to fly around the world for people to see us. We don't need to get in a car and drive anywhere for people to see us. Like, COVID created the this environment where we
Yeah,
can show up at any time, in any place, in any country, and still be in the comfort of our own home and show them who we are, the problem that we solve, and help people become better themselves. Help them become better at doing what they do. So I that's some
you
good
out here
stuff.
dropping all these gems right here. Got to cash app you a love boyfriend
He's so
because
silly.
you spend it. But no, but you know what? That's so true. What happens is, I think the reason why it's so easy for us to hide our gift is because we don't know the value of it. When you realize that you're the solution, it also becomes very fearful because now, I think about it, when Moses was selected to really go before the people, he was like, yo, God, I got a stuttering problem. I can't even get words out. And you and me talk to millions of people. And what happens is sometimes we start focusing on our disability that we don't realize he gave us the ability. You get what I'm saying? So when you keep focusing on your disability, you forget that you have an ability that he adds to super to your natural. Once you start operating your gift, it becomes so much easier to move because you're not just operating um, in yourself, you're operating in your fulfilled self, right? There's one thing, like, that's like, for example, there's some people who have like they go to school to become a chef, and there's some people who are gifted. There's some people who go to school to be a musician, and some people just naturally have it, right? I love Dr. Ben Tinker, and Dr. Jules. So Dr. Ben has never been trained by anybody to play the piano. He one day he sat down at the piano and started playing the piano, and it flowed, right? So now he is one of the number one. He is the number one gospel jazz artist in the world. He stays on the chart. But this is somebody who was hungry to make it to the next level, that he just naturally displayed and used his talents, that he was on display so many times that he was able to sign Yolanda Adams. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you think about that, is when you're just actively in your purpose, when you're actively showing your value, when it's on display, people are naturally connected to you because, one, you're in the right place at the right time. I'm never at the wrong place at the wrong time. I don't believe in that. Even when seeing things seem chaotic, I'm right where I need to be. And because I'm right where I need to be, I'm going to find the message in where I am right now. So oftentimes, like, we give up so easily. You know, and I'm so not sympathetic. I'm empathetic, but the sympathy part, that's just not me, because it's just like, once you start telling me your reasons why not, I'm gonna tell you the reasons why you can. Like, can't has been out of my vocabulary for a long, long time. I can't remember the last time I said I can't do something, because it's just like, once you start saying can't for one thing, you can't this, you can't that, you can't this, you can't that. And sometimes you let your family, your friends, even yourself limit yourself. Like, I have decided for the rest of my life, I will live a limitless life. If God forbid I pass away today, I can say that I actively lived in purpose and I actively pursued the gift and the vision of God for my life, because I know that there are too many people that are hurting on the outside that I need to reach. And when you realize that your value is healing to other people, once you start to activate your gift, it's like the person who, like, who's a musician, where some people are talented and just working the gift. Some people are naturally gifted. So when they naturally come into the room, even they could be in such chaos. Once they start to operate in their gift, the room starts to receive what they have to offer. So once you show up to a place and you show up in purpose, on purpose, you're able to actually just start navigating the room. So oftentimes we get so hooked on, like I said, our disability, that we forget our ability. Today in class, I had this group, they just need guidance. Like, it's not that they're not gifted, but they are so distracted by the things of their life that they don't realize how dope they are, that, hey, this is actually a good career path for you. So today, even though sometimes it's a little annoying to have to focus on one group when I need to get everybody's attention, but they performed the best they've performed all year, because guess what? I shared my value to show them their value. And now they say, we did it this time, we can do it again next week, right? It's about really sharing your light with others, because sometimes you may be the only light that come into someone's life. And now, because you showed that light, they're able to start. It's like clicking. It's like a lighter. You gotta flick it a few times, and sometimes the light don't come on automatically. But once you got it, you got it. But you have to take time to ignite the fire within. You know, uh, Even to, like, some people wait a new year to do a new year, new me. Nah, your new year start right now. Today is my new day. Today is my fresh start. Today is the day where I can make an impact. Today is the day I'm going to start to be better. And guess what? If today don't go well, if I get the opportunity to wake up tomorrow, I'm going to start tomorrow with such purpose that I'm like, yo, okay, who can I bless today? Who can I motivate today? How can I be a better person today? How can I show up for myself that I can show up for others? But when you can't even show up for yourself, how you expect to really impact the world? How you expect to sell these? I have so many people that hit me up saying all the products they want to do, but I said, hey, have you been on social media yet? Have you posted today? Like, even when I don't want to post, I'm posting. And that's why I get paid from Instagram now, because I'm constantly showing up. You can't expect to be in these rooms if you don't show up. Like, it's just crazy how, like, I'm at a place now where I'm so okay with being myself in a room that when I get to the room, I already know people they're gonna already like who I am and they want to be around me. Right? When I go into these rooms, I show up as myself. I can only show up as Josh. I can't show up as somebody else. I can't show up as the whole celebrity chef thing. People say I gotta show up as Josh in the room. And what's so it's crazy. I'm wearing this shirt. This is like one of my new Boss Up shirts. Yeah, so KLM Designs made this, but he switched up the design. I'm glad he did because uh, Boss Up is now looking like BU, right? So as a boss, which I build opportunities strategically and successfully. Sorry, I don't know what they know I'm on live. Sorry about that. So as I naturally show up as myself, right, I'm gonna always be me because as I build opportunities strategically and successfully, which is the theme of Boss Up, I do that by being myself. When you show up as yourself authentically, you can't help but to elevate people around you because you're a force. You are such a light to so many others that if you just be yourself, be humble, be gracious, and just take time to really focus on, hey, you know what? Today is an amazing day for me to step out into my purpose. Today's an amazing day for me to try again. Today's an amazing day for me to be able to feel loved and be loved. Today's an amazing day for me to really bless somebody else today. If you're not actively self-reflecting and having that self-growth, don't be surprised why your life is the same if you're not even doing the same practical steps every single day. It's repetition. If you eat every day, you have to feed your spirit every day. If you eat every day, you got to speak to yourself every day. If you eat every day, you got to speak words of power into your life because if you don't speak, if you don't get up, if you don't rise to the occasion, you're going to stay where you are.
Wait, I had to unmute. I'm like, you talk about dropping gems. Oh my gosh. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to the replay because that was everything right there. Um and y'all, it's so important. Like it really is important to look inward and value what it is that you bring to the table because you be the first one to devalue yourself. You really teach people how to treat you and how to maneuver around you when you
How to pay
devalue
people.
even your own gifts. You know what I mean? Like you be the first one in line, putting this kind of price tag if you want to use money on your gifting. And I'll say this, I was there too. I didn't value my gift as much as I valued money. And so I did not invest the money that it took to hone my gift, make sure my craft was developed, had to develop. Because you could be gifted and your gift does not grow or go to the next level if you don't do a lot more training to develop that gift. Imagine if Josh didn't go to culinary school, if he just stayed on the level that he was at, if he never looked at another YouTube channel, never read another book or anything and just stayed at that level. That's what it's like when we don't invest in our giftings, when we don't take it to the next level. Imagine if I never went to business school. My major is not business. My major is math, but I had to go back and take courses. And a lot of those courses were free. There were free courses. Now I couldn't get certified in it. And this is where people be like, oh girl, you crazy. Because I didn't get certified in it, but I knew that there was wisdom and knowledge in there that I could implement in my business and I could help other people. So although I didn't have the financial resources to pay for a certificate, I actually had the time. So we don't value the resources that we have because we value money above all things. We think that money is the highest form of prosperity. That's what we think. We think that somebody that has $1 million is worth more and is more valuable than somebody that only has $10. But what if you have $10 and the next great big idea and you have $1 million and that's it, nothing? They talk about generational wealth not going beyond the fourth generation or the third generation because the kids are given the wealth. They're given the money. And so they don't see any need to invest in their giftings and hone their skills because they already have money. So now it makes them complacent. So they talk about that all the time. And if that was the case, like money is the highest form of prosperity, then it would be fine just to have money and pass it down to the next. But you could spend that and it'll go real quick. Like they talk about lottery winners losing the money, the earnings within months or years of having the lottery and still going, and they're worse off. Most of them are worse off than they did before they actually won the lottery. So they're in worse poverty than they did before they actually got the money because their minds have not been developed. So we got to realize we have to value what we have. We have to look at things appropriately. Money
That's
is
good.
the lowest form. So to exchange your money for your time is so much better. To invest your money so that you can develop your gift is worth so much more. To give the money up, we got to realize that. Like, we're holding on to the little few coins that we have, and we don't realize millionaires and billionaires make money because they invest. They take the money
Yeah,
that they have and they invest in other people's businesses. They invest in the stocks and the bonds. They invest in their own mind, getting those, self-development. They constantly invest. I heard a millionaire talking about he invests $100,000 a year just for self-development. Like, who
yeah.
does that? And he's a millionaire. So can you imagine if you are a thousandaire, you only make $50,000 a year?
Or
Let's do the
100 there.
math. You know what I mean? What
Whatever
can
level
you
you at.
do? What level
Mhm.
you at? How can you use the money, the resources that you have, the time to invest so that now your gifting is increasing in value?
Mhm.
Just like a house appreciates, your gifting can appreciate when you invest in it. Did you know that
That's
people
good.
automatically think that houses appreciate in value? But there are times where, depending on the weather, the season, there's certain things that's going to happen to the house, and it can depreciate. Now, land is not going to depreciate, but your house can if you don't
Mhm.
take the time to put things into it. This is why people will gut out their entire kitchen and renovate that thing, because they know they'll spend $9,000 to renovate the kitchen, and that increases the value of the home by $25,000. So that's exactly what we have to do for our own selves. We have to look and see, what is it that we're really valuing? And if it's
That's
money,
good.
then we got to really do some inner work and realize that if we value money, then our gifting, if we value money, then the people, if we value money more than the time that we have been given to us, then we're upside down. We're doing it the wrong way.
Oh, definitely. It goes back to really just sometimes you have to really actually just be practical and write everything down. Like, write down, hey, you know what? What are the things I value? What are the things I don't value? And what should I value? And once you start to create that list, you start to put the area of attention to that area you need to growth in. But if you never take time to write, if you never take time to actually sit down with yourself, you'll never really get to the next level. Like the other day, I posted a message about value, because what happened is sometimes we're just so desperate to be in rooms, or just so desperate to be around people, or desperate for like connections. And human connection is definitely like a real thing, right? But sometimes you realize, let me evaluate this human connection that I want, because I want to be connected to that stream, or that source of human interaction, because you realize that some people that you're connected to were meant to actually come into your life to be a distraction, you know, and sometimes you're the distraction. You got what I'm saying? Especially with everybody having phones now, it's just such a distraction. But it's just like, when you start to think about it, how can I occupy my time better? Like, really, like, it's the beginning of January, and let's not wait till June or May or March or December to say I want to make a change. Just decide right now, you know what, I'm gonna just make the change. Yeah, and if you mess up the middle of January, okay, let me take a day off and let me get right back on the next day. Like, true change and true growth comes when you actively every day decide to be better. Every day, they say practice make perfect, but it's more so like practice. When the more you practice at being a better person, the more you become that person. Like, it's like when these people who are just really just so hooked on something that they start to believe, like somebody who's like a liar, right? And they tell a lie so much they start believing in themselves. You have to be so fixed on speaking positive words over yourself that you start to become what you see. It's not like you're lying to them, you're just reprogramming yourself, because you got to think, a lot of times we're programmed by what we grew up into in our families. Like, no one is literally born poor, they're born into poverty. No one is born rich, they born into it. So when you're born into something, that means you can come out of it. So if you don't like what you see, come out of it, because the more you start to really maneuver in your purpose, the more you're able to really have growth and see what the life you want to live. Like, I don't want to wish a hope and a pray that things are going to get better. I'm going to pray, I'm going to speak over myself and operate in the fullness of someone who operates and receives better. Like the more you treat, the better you treat yourself, the more you're able to really see other people treat yourself. The more you value yourself, the more others will see your value. And once people see your value, they treat you differently. It's nothing like remember those shows where, let's say, they had somebody look really beat up and they get a makeover, and the people that didn't want them before want them. People attracted to success. People attracted to what looks good. So the thing about, if you want these to attract these things, you have to become those things. And sometimes you got to fake it till you make it. You get what I'm saying? So you may not be able to have X, Y, and Z, but take care of what you have so well and treat it with pride that when it's your time up in line to really get to the next level, you've been taking care and value yourself so much that people just want to really give into your life. The people I'm connected to now is because I took time to value myself. I took time to learn how to treat myself. Like, especially on my birthday time, people be getting mad about people not doing it for their birthday. Do something for yourself. It's your birthday, not theirs. Like, it's so oftentimes we want people to do stuff for us, but we won't even do the stuff for ourselves. So if you want to really get to this level, like, stop expecting people to save you. Stop expecting people to show up for you when you don't show up for yourself. And you wonder why your business, you're not even showing to other people's business. Like, you want to support your business, but you're not supporting other people. Check and look at your bank account and see who you sown into. Because then you'll realize that, hey, I don't sow into enough people for people to sow into me. Like when people who have never, like, I've been doing my business for 22 years, right? And I'll get a DM from someone or a message, hey, can you donate this? Can you do this? Or here's my business. Can you support this? The first thing, and this is like the shady side, I'm like, man, I've known you for at least like 5 or 6 years or 10 years or 20 years, and you've never supported me once. So you want me to sow into something that you never sold into. It's reciprocation. Like, we have to be able to learn how to sow as well as to receive. Yeah, that reciprocity is big. Like, you can't expect somebody to always be showing up for you and you never show up. Like the other day, I was so tired, but my friend always shows up, and she was like, "Yo, Jay, we got a prayer call. Hop on a prayer call." I hopped on the call. I was tired, and I think I fell asleep on it, but I showed up because she always supports what I'm doing. And sometimes it's not always monetary support. Sometimes just showing your face, or giving a text or sending a card can change somebody's day because you're showing up. And when you show up for others, they'll show up for you.
You darn right. I was thinking about that scripture says, given it shall be given, not it shall be given and then give. So we have the onus on us to do the giving first, and then it shall be given. And it doesn't mean that's going to be given back from the person that you give it, but then you have now opened up the door so that it shall be given back unto you. But it starts with you first, that you have to give. And that's a hard thing for a lot of people, especially when you have been taken advantage of. But like you said, you have to start speaking and becoming, you got to come out of it. So if you have been taken advantage of, which I know a lot of people, we're in business. Josh and I automatically know people going to do that to you, but you can't stay stuck in that place. You have to move beyond it. You have to come out of it, like he said, because you have to realize you become the thing that you want to attract. You are attracting, the people talk about the law of attraction and all that. They have the scientific background to it. And the Bible talks about that all the time. As a man speaketh, so is he, as you say. And it will seem like a lie at first because you're not familiar with that part of who you are. Like Josh said, you were born into these things. So you're not familiar with that part of you that's being powerful and unique and different, and you speak up and you're wealthy. Like, you're not used to that part of you. Just because you're not used to that doesn't make it a lie. You have to now speak what you want to see so that you can become who you already were. You were made to have dominion. That's what God says in the beginning. Have dominion, multiply. We were made to multiply. The gifts were given to us so that we can multiply. And the reason why that when we talk about the gifts and the talents and the story, that Bible story where the one servant, he hid his, there's no way that you can multiply that if you hide it in the ground. It wasn't a seed. It was an investment that needed to be made. And you have to realize different types of seeds too. You can't bury money and expect money to come back to you. Money has to be invested. You can't invest seed and expect it to grow. Seeds have to be buried. So you, depending on what you have in your hand, what resources you have available to you, you have to understand there is a value in each and everything. If I take a bag of seed and I go to the stocks and I like, hey, here's the seed I want to trade, they're gonna look at me like, get that out of here. It's of no value. Seed is of no value to a trader. That's money is of no value to a farmer. If I take money and I give it to the farmer and say, plant this money, let's see if we could grow a money tree, he's gonna look at me like I'm stupid because it's not the right thing that needs to be planted. So we gotta know what value you're putting on what. Yes, money is valuable in certain areas. The Bible says money answereth all things,
Yeah.
but should it be valued above your gift? Should you be spending your money to now figure out how you can develop your gift? Because if and when you do, the money will follow. People
Yeah.
will call you into rooms and pay. We keep thinking if we do this for free for the first year that we're going to be doing this for free for the rest of our life. Absolutely not. For my
Not
first
at
year
all.
of life coaching, I did it for free. I was calling people like, hey, you life coach. Somebody said they were suicidal. I was like, all right, you can't afford a therapist, I'll help life coach you. I'm like, my friends was like, they suicidal, you might want to really get. But after being with me for a few, because I knew I had the answer, after being with me, this young lady was with me for 9 months. After being with me, she recently sent me a message. She said, Miss Natalie, I am so grateful for you because I have gone 60 days without having a suicidal thought.
Wow.
And
That's
this is
major.
that's major. And she
That's
didn't have
major.
any money to get therapy. They would not do it for free. It was a fight. And I was like, girl, I'll sit with you. We'll try to figure it out. I had no idea, but I knew I could help her in some way. And I let God do most of the leading and the work to get it
But
done.
that's what
But if I
happens though.
didn't,
You gotta show up. You gotta
you
show
gotta
up and
show
then let
up
God do the rest. You gotta show
and
up.
let
Like
him
you
do the
can't
rest.
expect. Yeah, that's good. You can't expect. You know, and this is what happens with me even too. Like when I first started teaching, right? I did well in class, but I was good at practical, but not always knowing terminology, right? So when I started my business, when I started teaching, it was like 23. So I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm about to tell these kids,
I know, right?
but I all I knew is that I knew how to fake it till I make it. But what happened was I started to show up to the place with really the mindset, you know what, God, when I get in this room, and what this is what my mentor said, hey, as soon as you go to the room to school, touch every desk and just pray over the desk, pray over your room, pray over everything, right? And they used to get up like 6:31 after school to pray. I'm like, I can't make it that early, but I'll be there beforehand to pray. So what happens as I started to really pray over every seat, every pray over my assignment with my list, I started to not only remember terminology, I started to remember also like how do I impact each kid? Because guess what? You can be in a room and it could be 100 people and you can speak to somebody and speak to every person in the room individually. It's like going to church. Something like, who told the pastor what I was going through? It's just that when you show up in your gift, you're naturally able to really impact so many lives because you're showing up. Like the key to really displaying your value is showing up. If we can't see your product, we can't see your worth. If you're never like showing up in the right rooms, you never see your worth. Like I'm so big on support. The more you support, the more people start to really kind of see your gifting. And sometimes, honestly, like even to when I was just away for Tiana's event in Phoenix, I met so many people that I was just creating that content when it's like, I never thought about doing that. So now they're able to grow their business expeditiously. So now we start thinking about like, yo, I am valuable. And sometimes you got to speak that to yourself, even when you don't see it. Like, hey, you know what? Today I found my value. I'm worthy. I'm worthy of success. I deserve success. I deserve to be in this room. I'm made to win. Like, you got to be so intentional about it till it becomes like, it, right? Like, it's like saying, for example, some faith confessions that I used to say younger is so embedded in me. I'm the head and not the tail, above and not beneath, the lender, not the borrower. Because I've been saying this stuff for so many years that I know when I'm in trouble, I know what's in me is going to come out because I've been meditating. I've been thinking about what I'm thinking about what I'm going to say. And now I'm learning to really start to create meditation. So next, when I'm in these troubles, I know to react with, no, I don't deserve this because I know that I'm a winner. I know that I'm a leader. I know I'm a giver. And because I give, it shall be given back unto me. Like good measures, pressed down, shaking together, running over. Like once you start to create like what you write with your manifestation, you start to say this every day. You start to write it every day. you start to cleanse your body of negative thinking that you can only respond in a positive way. The other day, I had a conversation with somebody said, "Yo, bro, you're always positive. Like you always gonna find a way to turn around." I said, "Yeah, because what's the point of being negative? You know, a negative is never going to equal a positive number if I still being negative. So I have to start really changing my mind to show up positive. I am the light, so I know that my light was going to always cover darkness. And sometimes the reason why we have so much attack on the daily basis is because our light is so dope, but because we know that we're made for big things, the darkness has to come to overshadow us because if we never show that light, you'll never get to the next level. But when you start to show that light, some people are attacked just because their light is so dope. Like, if you wonder why sometimes your attack is so great that you feel so defeated, is because once you really know who you are, you start showing up in such a place of victory. Like, yo, like there's so many people that are dope. You can hear like authority in people's voice. Like when some people talk, you can hear such a weight on them that once they open up their mouth, like demons really tremble. Once they open up their mouth, the atmosphere starts to change because they speak with such an authority. You know, like the reason why I started working at the Hyatt when I was 16, I always to be the one to say something. And my boss was at the time, the lady, she wasn't paying attention until I started speaking. And she said, Josh, it was something about your voice, something about your presentation that made me take notice. Stop what I was doing. And she was in and out the room, but she was in the room and I started talking. And from that moment, she offered me a job. But the hap was I had to show up, even when I didn't feel like showing up, even when I want to talk. But once people start to hear, like people see your greatness before you do sometimes. So that's why it's so important to really be mindful who speaks into your life and really put people in life strategically who can really speak in your life to help you get to the next level. You're never able to grow until you first plant the seed, water it, let it grow. Plant the seed, water it, let it grow. But if you keep denying yourself of understanding your value, you're going to always stay broken. And that's why we're here to help you with the Boss Up Talks every week. And also, to the guys, I'm excited because we got anything else, Natalie? Because I know we went over a little bit of time today. Okay. So it's official. We have you can't see it on Instagram, but I'll post a flyer, but I post on YouTube. You guys see that we have the 20. Don't that look lit? So we have the 2023 Vision Board Brunch on Sunday, January 22nd. We're talking about how do you want to make an impact on your life? What do you want to grow in? What are the areas you want to really succeed in? So we're having a Vision Board Brunch. It's going to be Sunday, January 22nd. From 12 to 4 at my spot in Essex County. And we're really going to put some work in. We're also going to be teaching, and we're also going to be doing a vision board workshop, because if you don't write it down, if you don't see it, how can you ever achieve it? This is going to be the year where we don't just put it on paper, but we actively practice what we put on paper. If it's time for you to win, it's time for you to win. We're going to make it happen. So the Vision Board Brunch, if you click the link in my bio, it's already posted. It's about 2 weeks away. And it's gonna be dope. You can get some good food, a little sangria, mimosa, a little bit of arts and crafts stuff, and we're gonna definitely it's gonna be lit. It's gonna be a whole dope vibe, and we're just so excited to really impact lives. If you're looking to help find your purpose, let's talk. DM me. If you're looking to really get clarity of your vision, hit Natalie up. It's a new year. Stop waiting for people to show up for you. Like, stop waiting to get I'll do it next time. Oh, I'll have it this time. Listen, if you want to win, you have to be around winners. If you want to win, you have to enter the race. And sometimes if you don't have a coach in that race, it becomes very, very hard because success loves speed and closed mouths do not get fed. If you don't open your mouth and say, hey, I need help, no one will know. No one will know you need help until you say, hey, I need help. So we're here to help. It's time to
We're
pivot.
here
It's
to
time to
help.
grow. It's up to you, fam.
It's up to
Anything else?
you.
Anything
That's
else,
it.
Natalie?
Listen, that was good. I love this. Listen, only thing I want to say is remember, your gift is more valuable than your money. Your time is more valuable than your money. So I need you to look at it appropriately, because you don't want to waste any time and you don't want to hide your gift any longer. The world definitely needs what you have. You could be the next, Zoom, whatever, or the next person to create the new interactive social media app, whatever it is, but you don't understand. You don't want to keep hiding any longer. People need to know who you are so that they can find you, so that you can solve these problems. So hit us up if you need help. Like Josh said, success loves speed. It doesn't mean we have to take forever to get to the place that we need to be. We just need to be connected to the right people and be in the right rooms.
That part.
And that's it.
All right, fam. Have a wonderful week on purpose. We will see you next Wednesday. And watch the
Yeah.
replay, share the replay. Let it bless somebody else
Yes.
like it
Yes.
was good for you. All right, fam.